In today's episode of Helix Amps Revisited, I'm going to take a look at what might be one of the smallest amp models we have in the Helix when talking about the real physical version of it, but a very mighty amp, shall we say, and one that's been used on countless records through the years. Very simple amp model. What am I talking about? Well, it's the US Small Tweed amp, which is a model of a Fender Champ amplifier. Very interesting amp. The original Fender Champs had one volume control. There was nothing else to them. The Helix model has a few more options to it that can be quite useful for getting some really killer tones out of this amp, and we're going to hopefully do that today. The preset that we're going to create today is going to be available at my website below. You can grab that for free and utilize it and tweak it however you want, and hopefully it's something that you guys can use. And that's going to be really similar to one of the snapshots from one of my full-blown Line 6 Marketplace presets, the US Small Tweed Ultimate preset, which is a multi-snapshot preset with a full array of effects, really dialed in to cover a real wide array of different tones and different textures, even by blending in the included effects in that. And later in the video, I'll let you hear a full demo video of how I use the various snapshots from the full-blown Line 6 Marketplace preset combined together over a rhythm section to create a nice little piece of music and let you hear how those different snapshots can work together and give you an idea of what they sound like. So without further ado, let's dive right over to HX Edit, take a look and see exactly what I did to get this preset sounding the way it does. And like I said below, the link for both the full-blown Marketplace preset and the free single snapshot preset are below. So let's get right to it and head over to HX Edit. So here we are in HX Edit. You can see that I'm using something very similar to the typical little template that I oftentimes use, or actually almost always use, as my starting point. I do have something a little different going on here. You'll notice I have the dual cab here that was kind of cool for this preset, and I was really digging it and liking what it did to it. So starting at the end of the chain though, I have my typical LA Studio comp, just doing a very tiny bit of compression just to kind of glue everything together. Peak reduction at 5, gain at 5. Pretty typical settings for me, mix at 100% on this one. Parametric EQ is actually being used very subtly here, other than just for the low and high cuts. Low cut at 100 hertz, high cut at 10 kilohertz, but I also have just a tiny little bit of mud maybe that I'm cleaning up here and adding a little bit of clarity to the overall tone. Mid frequency at 435 hertz. Mid Q at 1.4 and mid gain pulling that back by 1.5 dB. And that's basically all it's doing. And I'll give you an A/B of before and after without these sweetener blocks in, compared to just the amp through the cabs. All right, plate reverb, I went with this legacy reverb, really liked what it was doing to it. Decay at 3.5, pre-delay at 15 milliseconds, mix at 28%. And what is a little secret weapon to me that I love to have in my presets, because it gives me a real intuitive, quick way, and anybody who's using these presets, a really quick, intuitive way to be able to gently shape your tone and dial it in perfectly for whatever your monitoring system is or whatever your situation is live in the studio. You can give little tweaks here, and it can really go a long way to just getting things perfect. So I have, as I often do, low and high frequency both set at 650 hertz. All the frequencies below 650 pulled back by 2 dB. All of the frequencies above boosted by 2 dB. And like I said, I'll turn those all off after the fact, and we can hear what they sound like before and after with these little sweeteners that I have going. Now, the cabs. I have two instances of the 110 US Princess, and I want to mess around by combining one of them with a 121 ribbon up here on path A, on the cap edge, 4 inches back. All right, and then the other version of that, I have the 67 condenser on the cap edge, 2 inches back. Both are going to have a real nice complementary sound. And then what I do on the split block is I route a little bit more of the signal to the B path. So we're getting a little bit more of the 67 condenser version of this cab. Maybe just giving a little more brightness than just going with the darker 121 ribbon. And then over here on the actual amp, I have drive at 7, bass at 6, mid at 5.2, treble at 5.2, presence at 3, channel volume at 8.1, master at 10, and the deeper functions I don't believe I actually touched. Now, I don't really know which particular Fender Champ model from over the years that the folks at Line 6 actually modeled here. If it was one of the very early ones, there should just be a volume control, but they do have all these other tone stack controls. And if they're there, and as we move them, if we're hearing that they're doing something, you know, we can find a sweet spot for this amp, and I just kind of like these settings and had it working nicely for that. So what we're going to do here, we're going to turn off everything, start with just the amp and the cab, And here I'm playing my Vigier GV Wood with P90 pickups in it. And we'll play it with a couple different guitars so you can hear what this sounds like. So I'm on the bridge pickup. So that's a little bit tubby, maybe a little bit muddy. I don't know. It's not terrible. Some really nice characteristics going on there that I really like. Now, if we listen to the mics, the different mics on the different cabinets. So if I go all the way, we'll remember our B35 setting. This is all the way over to this cabinet with the condenser mic on it. I like the bottom in there, but maybe a little bit too ratty on top. And then if we go over to the R121 ribbon, I kind of like that too. But now if we blend those two equally, bring it over to where I had my final product. I was kind of liking it right there. Now, if we come over to the end and bring in our compressor. Now, you'll notice the volume jumped a bit when I engaged that. Now, that might be a problem for some. This is an always on effect for me, so I don't really worry too much about that. If you were going to turn this on and off and wanted the volume to be kind of at unity gain going in with it on or off, then what we can do is actually just pull back this final level control. So you'll get a better comparison between it on and off. So there it is off. Like I said, it's going to be an extremely subtle thing, but I find that it gives a nice feel and a little bit of a nice squish to the sound. Now we'll bring in this parametric EQ. You'll hear on the bottom end, it just kind of cleans things up and gives a little more clarity with that tiny little low mid cut that I put in there. And then to really bring it to life, we'll bring that plate reverb in there. Kind of really brings it to life. And then finally, my little low and high shelf to just add the final polish on here. Find that just makes it a little more mix ready and polished sounding. Now, I have two snapshots set up here just for comparison purposes. If I hit the second snapshot, it goes to amp and cab. So basically it gets rid of the low and high shelf, the parametric EQ, and the compressor, leaves the reverb on. So we can do a real quick comparison between having these little sweetener blocks on and off. And here's how it sounds. So look, watch up here, you'll have amp and cab, and then you'll just have the push snapshot with everything engaged. So here's the amp and the cab, and I'll watch up here and I'll foot switch through the two of them. So there you have it. I think you'll agree that it polishes things up and just makes it so it's going to sit in a mix a little bit better and just be a little bit more ready to go for live or in the studio. Let's take a listen to this with full-blown humbucker pickups. So here I have my Gibson SG. Here's the finished tone with this. With a neck pickup. Middle position. Now again, before and after without the sweeteners. Now let's take a listen with a Telly style guitar with some true single coil pickups. Now I have my Sir Classic T here on the bridge position. Or the neck pickup. Middle position. All right, so there you have it. That's the finished product. I was really loving that really cool Fender vibe, kind of very cool distortion characteristics that those amp models have. Now, if you'd like to hear what the full-blown US Small Tweed Ultimate preset that I have available at the Line 6 Marketplace with its various snapshots, full array of effects, when we blend that all together and utilize it in a mix, it sounds like this. All right, what did you guys think? I hope you enjoyed that. So as I mentioned, this preset that we made today is available at a link below at my website. You can grab that for free. And I have the full-blown Line 6 Marketplace US Small Tweed preset available also if you're so inclined and you want to go grab that. And you might find something in there that you really like. Like I said, it's a full array of effects along with multi-snapshots, everything from clean all the way up to lead tones. And I hope you find something in there that's very suitable for what you want to do. So thank you guys so much for sharing your time with me. Please like the video, share it with anybody you think would get some use or enjoyment out of watching it. Also, please subscribe to the channel. Hit the little bell notification to get notified when I put new content out. I'll be back really soon with some more. Thanks again so much for hanging out with me through the video. I'll be back really soon with some more. Ciao for now.